And in the season finale, Cassie is reeling from what Grace did right in front of her. The cops don't think she's a suspect. They know what happened. But it's a lot for Cassie. She heads over to the hospital because Shane has survived along with Benjamin. They were both stabbed. Looks like they're going to be all right. Dot also headed to the hospital because it's her agents. She has to speak with Cassie alone. She thanks Cassie for all that she's done, and she lets her know that they verified Benjamin was not working with Grace. She also apologizes because she feels like this is on her. She then shows her a classified document of Grace talking to another blonde woman and tells her that Grace wasn't working alone. Dot tells Cassie that she needs to come with her, but Cassie gets a text message from Megan saying that she's arrived. Megan dropped off the car at the airport, letting the North Korean know that if he really wants to do this, she will make it her life's mission to hunt him down and kill him if anything happens to her family. Now, it's time to make sure her family's safe. She's arrived at the hospital looking to make a deal with Shane. So before Cassie goes off with Dot, she needs to make sure Shane isn't going to arrest Megan on the spot. And Shane wants to, but he agrees to hear Megan out. And the information that she has is enough to get her in witness protection. So Shane kicks Cassie out and listens to what Megan has to say. Shane agrees that Megan's information is great, and through his connections, he's able to set Megan up in witness protection, and her and her family should be safe. Outside, Cassie starts walking down the hall in the hospital. She gets a phone call from Rick, Davy's husband. He tells her that he's not ready to call the police yet, but he has been getting a bunch of text messages from Davy saying how much that Davy let her down and that he can't come home. Rick doesn't even think he got on the plane. She tells Rick that she did, in fact, get some weird text messages from him, but it's been a crazy day. She'll track him down and get back to him. She then hops in a car with Dot, and they head off back to the office. They're stuck in pretty bad traffic, though, and Cassie really wants to take a shower. Dot would like to, but she tells Cassie there is somebody still out there who probably wants to hurt you. It's not a safe move. But she feels for Cassie, so she tells the driver, head to my place so Cassie can shower there. When they arrive at Dot's condo, it's huge and gorgeous. Dot tells her where the shower is, but curiosity has always been the downfall of Cassie, and she starts looking around a little bit at all the pictures that Dot has. Like, there's one with her and former President George Bush. There's one with her and Colin Powell. And then there's one that's really interesting because it's her, just her, in a full soldier's uniform, but she's leaning on somebody else who is cropped out of the photo. And that's when it clicks. The other person was Grace. She saw the same photo in Grace's apartment. The only difference was in the photo, instead of Dot, it was Grace. When you connect both photos, you've got the full photo. She looks through her bathroom cabinet, and there's Santal 33, the perfume that was all over the bloody wig. She then remembers that her psych evaluation was doctored, and Shane told her it could only be doctored by somebody pretty high up. Dot fits that description. She can't shower because she realized that she walked home with the same person who's been setting her up this entire time. She needs to do something, so she calls up Annie, fills Annie in on everything, and asks if Max can let off the alarm in the building so she can get a clean getaway. Of course, Max agrees, and the alarm goes off a little while later, and Cassie tries to start making her way out of the condo. The alarm, though, is really bothering her tinnitus, and she doesn't make it out before she's caught by Dot. And Dot casually just turns the alarm off. Dot then brushes off her blazer to show Cassie she has a gun, because now she knows that Cassie knows. She has all the telltale signs, her breathing, her heart rate, all that. She tells Cassie, what do you think you know? And Cassie tells her her theory. And Dot says, yeah, Grace was one of the many broken toys that I've used. Kind of like you. Cassie asks what happened with Will, and Dot says he tried to blackmail me. I had to eliminate him. Cassie's pretty scared. She tells Dot that she'd really like to leave, but she can't because Dot's blocking her. But Dot has set this whole thing up. If Cassie goes towards her, which really would be towards the exit, the ballistics are going to show that she was defending herself because Cassie was, quote, coming at her. And Cassie has just had enough, so she screams at Dot, why me? And Dot tells her, as soon as I saw your file, I knew you would fit the description of a rogue officer. I mean, you went to every single crime scene, just like I wanted. Your self-destructiveness was perfect. After getting into a little tiff with her inner self, she comes up with a plan on how to get out of there. She pulls an alarm and tries to escape, but the two CIA agents who drove them there bump into her as she's trying to leave. Dot yells for them to grab Cassie, but instead they grab Dot, because they were tipped off by Benjamin Barry that Dot's the real one that needs to get arrested. Cassie has to stay at Dot's condo, and a little while later, Benjamin shows up. She asks him, "How did you know?" And he says, "When I pulled your file, I saw things that I knew were fabrications. Then I started looking in a dot and things started unfolding. I found notes about the pier with today's date. And then after the woman at the pier that looked like you stabbed me, everything kind of snapped into place. It turns out Dot has been selling CIA records for years." He also tells her that she's lucky that one of the officers mentioned Dot was bringing Cassie there, which is a big breach of conduct. They then start talking about what happened in his office because they never talked about it. And they agree that they both suddenly forgot about it. From now on, they're going to keep things professional. He tells her she did a good job and he'll see her next week. He takes off and then her phone pings. And it's Davey. She feels horrible because she forgot about him, but Davey's text message say, in all caps, "I can't go home, I screwed up." She immediately calls Davey back, but instead of Davey, she gets Jenny. She's a little confused on why she's talking to Jenny, but Jenny explains that Davey stopped by to say goodbye, and then he chucked his phone. He was in a manic episode talking about his kids, and now he's in her backyard pacing and yelling. She tells Jenny, "Send me your address, I'll be over immediately." And she heads over. When she gets to Jenny's house, Jenny locks the door, offers her tea, but all Cassie wants to do is see her brother. As they head upstairs to see Davey, Jenny tells Cassie that this is her grandmother's house. She recently passed away, so they have to go through everything. And it fits. It does look like an old lady's house. When they finally get upstairs, Davey is passed out on the couch. Cassie starts trying to wake him up, but as she's doing so, her phone rings. And Jenny grabs it and hammers the crap out of it, breaking it. Cassie turns around and sees Jenny hammering her phone, but she also notices this entire vision board of Cassie. Everything that happened with the Alex Sokolov situation, and any time she's ever been in the news. But there's words under pictures like liar, psycho, floozy, and then right next to that vision board is another vision board. But this one is all positive and all about Felix. That's when it clicks with Cassie that every time Jenny talked about her boyfriend, she must have been talking about Felix. Cassie yells for Davey to wake up, but Jenny tells her, "I knocked him out full of Ativan. He's going to be sleeping for a while." Oh, and there's no podcast. And just like in Dot's apartment, Cassie asks, how? Why? And Jenny is one of these crime fanatics who finds the killer hot, so she went to go visit Felix in prison. When she did, Felix thought she was weird, but they ended up striking up a pen pal relationship, and he was able to convince her to go after Cassie Bowden. I don't know, maybe he was actually into Jenny for Jenny, but it seemed like she definitely was being used. Cassie tries to talk Jenny out of it, but Jenny needs to get revenge for her man. She goes to attack Cassie. Cassie's able to get away and hide in a closet, but it's not long before Jenny comes calling. When Jenny opens the closet door that Cassie was hiding behind, Cassie knocks Jenny down, and then she sees just whose house it really is. Because if it was Jenny's grandmother, the way she died was she was murdered by Jenny. There's a dead body under a bed. Cassie doesn't have time to waste, though, because Jenny has a hammer in her hand, and she has bad intentions with it. Cassie starts once again trying to talk her out of this, buying herself some time, when a very groggy Davey shows up, knocking Jenny down, and then Cassie knocking her out by hitting her over the head. They then call the cops, and Jenny gets locked up. A couple days later, Davey heads home with Rick, and Cassie heads back to work as a flight attendant, but also as a CIA operative. She needs to head to Vegas, though, for the nuptials between Annie and Max. While waiting for the plane to take off, she decides to call her mom. She tells her mom that she understands why her mom said what she said, and she doesn't disagree with it, but she also wants to let her mom know that she's taking the steps to correct those mistakes. Her mother appreciates it and says, "I really hope we can talk soon." And Cassie agrees that that'd be a great idea. She then heads off and watches her best friend get married. And that is the end of Season 2 of The Flight Attendant. Thank you so much for getting to this part of the recap. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel and consider subscribing to my Patreon. There's a link in the description. If you don't want to do that, I have a store. You could buy t-shirts. You could buy like a koozie or a mug or, I don't know, just buy something. I got bills to pay, you know. If you leave a comment in the comment section and I don't get back to you, don't take it personal. Comment sections are usually a cesspool, and nasty comments just make me feel bad. Hope you understand. But just know, I really do appreciate you guys checking this out.